Sanditon Chronicles. It's Maureen, yay! So I listened to our other podcast that I put out for you on Thursday. I hope you guys enjoyed that little snippet, that little birthday present to y'all. I don't say y'all. I don't know why I just said it then. It was weird. But I noticed that the audio is kind of weird when you're that far away from the camera. So I'm back up in my podcasting room. I have someone watching my toddler so I can do this. And today we're going to get into it. Now my schedule got a little screwy I've been talking since we started this, that I have it all laid out until next March, our 1 year anniversary. Our 1 year anniversary is actually my birthday, so that's fun. But my schedule got a little screwy in that I went out of order, so I skipped a few. So we're going back and we're covering those. I do have, let's see, I have, the one we're talking today is Clara. I can't do this right. My depth perception is terrible. This way. Clara. Lady Denham. That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. But today we're talking Clara and Lady Denham, their relationship dynamic. And I have, listen, when you have chemotherapy, you gotta eat when you're hungry. So I've got some oranges up here to sustain me. And my water. No coffee today, which is depressing. But we have this one today. We have a fun one on the fanfiction we're going to cover is, I gotta look it up, but I'm going to put it in our podcast description for the fanfiction we're going to cover in a couple weeks, because I would like you guys to read it. So I'm sorry I'm looking down at my phone, I'm looking up the story for you. But I would like you guys to go ahead and read that so we can discuss together. And you'll have some inkling of what we're talking about rather than just hearing us. I mean, if you want to listen to us give you a book review, we are more than happy to do that. However, it might be fun to actually know what we're talking about. So we are reading this book called From Endings to New Beginnings by Erica. I believe is her name? Yeah, Erica. Her name is Eleanor on Archive. It's on Archive of Our Own. I'm sorry, Archive of Our Own. From Endings to New Beginnings. Her name on there is Eleanor, and it's underscore, it starts with a T. I cannot remember what it is, but that is her name on there. That is the story we will be reviewing. Janis and I are getting back. We scheduled it, so Janis and I are going over it together for you. That is coming up. And then we have another character spotlight and one more character relationship dynamic. And then, unless you guys have some art you'd like us to go over, if you have a shop you'd like us to promote, SandiCon wants to come on and talk, we're going to do fan fiction until I can hopefully get some interviews soon. My thing is I'm trying not to bother anybody right now because I don't know when I can respond. So I'm hoping and praying that someone is going to reach out to me and be able to do an interview. That's what our hope is. So let's dig into Clara and Lady D. Now, not only you guys have the raw deal here today, not only do you have me just talking to you, but you're going to watch me eat or listen to me eat. I do this, and I'm sorry. I was going to use the microphone, but the last time I used the microphone on my camera to record, I recorded an hour. Really great podcast. I was really proud of it. I was really excited about it. You may remember this. What we guys got instead of a podcast was a video of me saying, I apologize, there's no sound on my video. So that's what happened the last time I used a microphone, and now I'm afraid to use it. So here we are. I'm sorry. So you're going to listen to me eat or watch me eat and talk, but we're going to talk Lady Denham and Clara. Now, on the surface, it is an odd thing, because Lady Denham, it's a little out of character for her to take a poor relation from her family into their house. Esther and Edward, not her blood, are still poor relations of her family. By all accounts, she treats them the same that she treats Clara, with the same sort of contempt, right? So what I would like, and I wonder if they have this in their head, and I know that Jane Austen had already started the book, and Jane Austen already introduced these things, but I wonder if maybe Justin, in all of his writing wisdom, maybe even with the help of Paula, if you guys could write a backstory. I mean, we could do that too. Maybe one of us should write a backstory of how Clara came to be Lady Denham's ward, because I would like to see that conversation, how that played out, what manipulation someone used, whether it was Clara or her parents, used to get Lady Denham to take her in. Because Lady Denham, it's all about angles. It's all about how to speak to her. And honestly, Esther's the only one who can really do it. And you'll notice that when in the bathtub, in the bathtub scene in episode, 3? My husband always comes in every time and says, "Is this the bathtub scene?" Because he kept walking in on that scene as I binge watched it on repeat. But in that scene, there's a reason Esther's the one who speaks to Lady Denham, because Esther understands Lady Denham's character. So in order to manipulate her, you have to understand her somewhat, right? And Clara does. So I would like to know what manipulation she used to get Lady Denham to accept her in. Not just accept her in, but wholly take her in. Take on all of her expenses, take on all of her care, take on all of her, and I assume that instruction, Lady Denham is the one instructing her, because you don't ever see her with a tutor. Maybe she's above age, but Lady Denham is providing her with valuable instruction, I'm sure. Right? So how? How did Clara manage this? Because it is so out of character for Lady Denham to do that. And Esther points it out by calling it charity. She abhors charity. It does nothing for anyone. But I think with Clara, in her desperation, I mean, she could have feigned anything. I've talked before about her and our spotlight of her. Actually, that was one that looked like I missed, but I'm fairly certain we did a spotlight on Clara. My memory is foggy now. I was telling my friends, I'm going to use this. I have cancer. So it's not my fault. But I'm fairly certain we did a Clara spotlight. If we did not, that is coming. We did not. She's coming next week. I think we did miss that one. So we'll talk more in depth about that later. But with Clara, she is abused, obviously. She has been assaulted. Her whole life has been trauma after trauma after trauma, abuse after abuse after abuse, right? So she does have an authentic way to get Lady Denham to feel sad for him. But I doubt that's something, I mean, in those times, it's something that's not something you proclaimed. Whether or not it was done to you or you were a willing participant, you were tainted from that, which is so horribly sad and depressing. But that's the way it was. So I don't think Clara would have used that, but you see when she burned her arm, she got Lady Denham's sympathy for a day. Right? Oh, my arm, it hurts so bad when it happened. And I think the reason that is because it gave Lady Denham an opportunity to show her magnanimousness, to show how compassionate she was. It gave her an opportunity, and I don't think it's like, ooh, here's my time to shine. I think that she just had trained her brain so much so that I think when those opportunities presented themselves, it was just something that she had trained her over the years of doing this, just naturally. Her brain had been trained to, okay, gotta jump into action here, show how good I am. I need to be the one to help. But then you see the next day, after it happened, when no one was there to witness it, and Clara's saying, oh, but I can't bring that lady down on my arm. Oh, your arm is just fine. Sympathy gone. Right? So Clara, with her trauma, would have had an edge. But I almost wonder if how she got Lady Denham to do that was because the sympathy is not there permanently, right? Lady Denham that sympathy only lasted a day. So I wonder if part of her had to speak to her vanity of, you're the only one who can instruct me. You're the only one I can learn from. It would be such an honor for me. Something along those lines. But again, I just don't understand how that would play out. I can't see it in my head play out that way because I feel like Lady Denham is too smart for that almost, right? Nonetheless, they're together. They are in each other's company constantly. And the other aspect too, if you see, like when Charlotte and Mary come over in episode 1 to meet Lady Denham at her house, it's after we see the little thing in the woods with Edward and Clara. Clara comes in. Lady Denham's bragging about her ability on the piano, right? But then you see in episode 5 when they're going to the beach, Clara is almost a servant. She's holding all the pillows, all the blankets, everything that Lady Denham keeps throwing at her. She just keeps grabbing it. Lady Denham has a servant over her holding the umbrella, but Clara is stuck carrying the load. So it's hard even to understand what exactly is their relationship. Again, at the pineapple luncheon, they're talking casually. And Clara asks if the pineapple's a bomb. And Lady Denham kind of laughs as she would at a child who made an incorrect statement. So even then, it's more So you see her bragging about her skills. Then you see her as a servant. But then you see her almost as like a mother-child relationship. So there's all these different dynamics and layers of the relationship. And I wonder partly, is Lady Denham trying to figure out what this is? Because there's so many conflicting things there. And I can't quite figure out what it is. I can't quite get a grasp on what the relationship is. And then she's caring for her. And if it wasn't Clara who got her over there, maybe it was the parents. And that's why it's such a conflicting thing. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. What exactly, how do you see it played out in your head of how Clara came to be at Lady Denham's house? I'm interested to know what you think about that. So Clara's there. However she got there, she's there. Whatever the relationship it is, they have a relationship. And we see, the first time we see them together is at the Trafalgar House. And we see that Lady Denham doesn't even give her direction. She just tells her where to stand. She tells her where to go, or she doesn't even give her direction where to go, where to stand. Clara just automatically sits in the back of the room, kind of hidden away, right? She sits off to the side. And that's where the direction she gives to is to Charlotte to go join Clara, right? So that right there is a weird thing. And that is something that was kind of accepted of children, as you're seen and not heard. This is not for you. This time is not for you. This conversation is not for you. You are not mature enough for this. You're not ready for this. I don't want to hear you, see you. I want to see you. I want to see you be pretty. I want to see you be a model. I want to see you be everything that I demand that you are. I don't want to hear you. I don't want you to encroach on what I'm doing and what my plans are and what my thing is. And that's sort of how we see her treating her when we first see Clara and Lady Denham. And of course, I think Lady Denham softens over the course of the time. And maybe there was a part of Lady Denham that knew what Clara was to some degree. There's no way Lady Denham would have taken her in if she knew exactly what had happened to Clara or what she was doing or what she was capable of doing with Edward. There's no way she would have let her in. So I don't think she knew in full, but I think that Lady Denham isn't as foolish as her surface appearance seems. And I think we see that going on further. And maybe the reason she seems a little more foolish in episode 1 is because that's how Jane Austen wrote her. And maybe it altered. Justin and the writers gave her room to grow as they wrote her, just as they sort of, Clara, I struggle to say she grew. I don't think she grew. I think Clara stayed the same. But I think we see a growth in Lady Denham, certainly. And I think that that's something that can be marked as the reason for the difference. That Jane Austen was the author of chapter 1, episode 1, Lady Denham and Clara. And you kind of have to wonder, what was her, if Jane Austen would have written it, would she have written it the same way? Maybe not as explicitly, but would she have made Clara someone who stays in that area, in that zone? How would she have dug so into the explicit side of that story? And that, to me, that makes me view the relationship a little different too. Because I'm trying to hedge what Justin Young and the team have created in Clara and Lady Denham and this dynamic, while also trying to incorporate what I know of how Jane Austen writes and how she might have written the story. And I'm trying to mold the two. And I think maybe that's why this relationship is so hard for me to figure out. Because I don't think those two can really be molded together at this point. Because I think, well, overall, I think the story went so canon. I've never read anything by Jane Austen that comes near this sort of explicit nature. Maybe we'll have to have Paul Byrne back on here and talk about them and their dynamic. But I think that's why I struggle so much. I love both of these characters. Well, I don't know that I'd say I love Clara. I like Clara. And we'll talk next week about why. But I just really struggle figuring out what they are and why they are. And I think that's why, because I'm trying to blend the two worlds that have never coexisted. So in that first episode, I don't want to call it a wash, because I think we do have to incorporate that. I think and I think the reason we have to incorporate it, not for Clara's sake, but for Lady Denham's sake, I think we have to incorporate it because we see her treating her as a unhurt child, even though she's clearly a grown woman, right? They walk along the seaside. Clara stands dutifully and silently behind them. And even in that first episode, Clara seems a little like, I'm an airhead, kind of, right? Obviously, it's a show, but that's what it seems. And then you see a further depiction of that at Lady Denham's house when she's bragging about how she can perform. And that's another instance of how children were viewed at that time, of seen and not heard until I tell you to perform. And Clara was told to perform, and she did. So I think there's in that first episode, their relationship smacks of mother-child. Or at least caregiver-child. I wouldn't say mother-child, because I don't think Lady Denham is really motherly. Maybe caregiver-child. That's what the relationship starts off as, or that's at least what you get the impression of. At least what I get the impression of, is a caregiver-child relationship. And even at the ball, she's dressed up like a showpiece. She laughs at all the right spots. She does all the right things. Lady Denham sits in her chair, observing it all like a queen. And it's a showpiece. Clara is Lady Denham's showpiece in that first episode, certainly. But I don't think you can continue to call her showpiece as it goes on, especially given the evidence of episode 5 when she's piling things on her. You didn't pile things on a showpiece to carry like a servant. You told them to be silent, dutiful, and obedient, and stand out front and do nothing, don't speak, don't do anything, just stand there and be pretty. You can't stand there and be pretty when you're carrying all this stuff. So I think that the first episode certainly gives us a layer of maybe what Lady Denham hoped. And again, we don't know how long Clara stayed there. I know that in that bathtub scene, Esther asks about how long she's been there, but I don't think we ever get, if my memory serves correctly. I'm sorry if I'm back and forth. I'm struggling with a chemo headache at the moment, and I'm trying to power through this. So I don't think that we actually have a timeline for how long she's been there and how long she's going to stay. Obviously, we don't know we know how long she stays because we've seen it, but Lady Denham doesn't even know. So maybe what we're seeing in the first episode is kind of the final, you've been my showpiece, you've done nothing for me, so time for roles to change. Maybe that's why. Maybe she's been her showpiece for so long that now going forward, they've decided, she's done being the showpiece because she didn't serve a purpose. She didn't, not in terms of the storyline, but I mean for Lady Denham, that you did nothing for me as a showpiece. So now I'm going to make you worth my while, worth my time. I'm going to make it so that me taking you on isn't something I get nothing out of. So moving forward, again, even in episode 4, episode 4, Lady Denham uses Clara as a servant again. Take this letter and bring it here. Go give it to Edward and Esther. So even then, she's treated as a servant. And so you kind of see her digging into, what use can I get out of you? So I'm trying to think of the order that this goes in. Episode 2 is the luncheon. Okay. Episode 2 is the luncheon. And we see her, almost a softening there a little bit when they're talking about the pineapple, right? Lady Denham, it's brief. It's just a glimpse when they're talking about the pineapple. And Lady Denham kind of laughs and says, "Poor ignorant child," basically. You know nothing. Ha ha ha. Your poverty has made you stupid. Ha ha ha. Right? But it's not mean necessarily. It's kind of showing Lady Denham doesn't even remember that life when she had no money, because she did not come from money. She did not always have money. And she says that when she talks to Esther in episode 6. He married her. She had money. Of course he couldn't have married me. I had nothing. So we know that Lady Denham came from where Clara came from. She came from there. She knows what poverty is like, and she knows what it brings. And Lady Denham, that laugh there, it's not a mean laugh. I think it's a laugh, and I think I just said a moment ago that she forgot, but I don't think that's accurate either. I think what that laugh means is, oh, I remember that life. Oh, poor stupid life all that time ago. And I think that's kind of where she's going with it. I think that's her idea behind it. But it's almost a camaraderie that you see there for that brief moment. And then when they're waiting in the lobby of Sanditon House. I always want to call it Denham Place, because that's what it is, but because she's a Denham, but it's Sanditon House. I gotta stop calling it Denham Place. It's Sanditon House. And they're waiting in the lobby there, and Clara deigns not only to be with someone else, but to speak to someone else. That's kind of for me, in my memory, that is the last time you really see Lady Denham treat her as a showpiece. When she is heard and seen, and Lady Denham's annoyed and calls her over by her. No, you're not her showpiece. You're mine, and you don't speak. So camaraderie over, right? Camaraderie all done. No more. And so she calls her over by her, and that's the first time that you see, and of course it could be because Lady Denham was irritated Georgiana was late. But I think that it was because it scene confused me for a while. When she hears Clara, she kind of turns, just cracked my neck there. That was too fast. She turned her head and looked at her really fast because she just heard her voice, and then she ushered her over just with the snip of her hand. And so you see this, you see her annoyance at hearing this child, which Lady Denham no doubt considers her a child. You are a child that I bestowed my graciousness on, and yet here you are doing something I have not authorized you to do with someone I have not authorized you to be with. And I don't think it's anything against Charlotte. I think it's, no, we are gathered here in a group of people. My showpiece is going to stand by me, so my benevolence can be displayed accurately. We're trying to impress Georgiana. My benevolence will be on full display to impress this person. And maybe you think I'm off on that. Let me know. Again, I will say, debate me on these points. If you don't agree with them, please, please, please debate me. That is the love of my life. That's not true. My children and my husband are. But I love to debate these things. I love to give these points. It energizes me. So debate me on these. Tell me how you feel differently. Tell me what you think differently. And after that, we see, and I'm trying to go, because we don't see, I feel like we see a lot of Lady Denham and Clara, but we don't see much of them alone, right? We don't see a lot of them alone. Episode 3 is the bathtub scene where obviously Clara I don't think she had planned what she was going to do when she got in the bathtub, but Lady Denham had criticized her abuse of her benevolence. Not charity, benevolence. And said, I think it's high time we discuss the terms of your stay. And so we see episode 1, child, seen, not heard, obedient. Episode 2, we see, oh, stupid child. I remember being your child. I remember being a child that you transferred to, you are no longer being seen and not heard. I don't like this, to changing the terms of your stay. And I think so we see, I like how they kind of built that up to show instead of tell us. And of course there's dialogue there, but they are still showing us by Annie Reid's facial expressions, by how Clara sits in obedience. Like even the way Clara stands sometimes when she's around Lady Denham with her hands kind of together. You can't see me if you're listening on my podcast platform, I'm sorry. But she kind of holds her hands together like this. I think she holds her hands together down by her hands, just clasped together, tightly together in front of her. She talks softly. She kind of purses her lips. She's very feminine when she speaks to Lady Denham at first, when she does speak to her, and it's very agreeing with her, in agreement with her, very kind of patting her on the back, encouraging her in her insanity of how she acts. That's how we see Clara at first. That's how it plays out at first. And then you go on to see in episode 2 with Annie's facial expression, she's just full of annoyance that she can hear Clara's voice, and she's over by Charlotte instead of behind her, standing there like a showpiece. She's annoyed, and it's shown, it's not told. So it's a great testament to not only the acting but the writing and how they kind of built this up to be caregiver child to, nope, now you're going to serve me. And I don't think when she said it's time to discuss the terms of your stay, I don't think she meant you are now my servant. I think she was saying, okay, if I'm going to give something to you, charity is freely given with nothing in return. That's not what I'm doing for you. What I'm doing for you is giving you something for something in return. That's what she was saying. I don't think she was explicitly saying you're going to be my servant now. I think she was saying you're going to do whatever I ask you to do. Whether it's being a servant, whether it's accompanying me somewhere, whether it's doing this. And not that Clara never did it before. But I think that Lady Denham probably didn't treat her much like a servant before. Because I think Clara milked that position with her. Of, oh yes, I'm seen and unheard. I'm perfectly obedient. Very soft-spoken. You won't even know I'm here unless you want to know I'm here. And I think this is kind of the first time that Lady Denham is like, okay, no, we're going to enforce this. And I'm going to get something. I'm not just going to get something. I'm going to get something tangible from you. I'm not just going to get kind looks from strangers telling me how good I am to take you in. I know how good I am to take you in. Now I want something. Now I want to feel that I've gotten something. So when Clara gets in that bathtub, I don't think she knew what she was going to do, but she knew that something had to change if she didn't want her lifestyle to be different. And so she goes in there, and Lady Denham is overcome with compassion for her because, again, we are not that far out from caregiver child. We are not that far out from that position. It's just very, very quickly, within moments, moved into we're changing the terms. So she is still kind of in that caregiver role to the child, that she feels, oh, my poor baby, she says. I love when Lady Denham says that because it sounds so uncharacteristic. Like you've never, like, your poor baby, what? Or she says, oh, my poor child. Oh, my poor your poor child. It just, that tells you right there that they're not that far out from the caregiver child. I mean, she calls her child. So she's still fulfilling that role as you would a showpiece. If your showpiece gets damaged, it's hard for you, as in your head, if you're in control of the showpiece, it's just as hard for you as it is for the showpiece. Everything that happens to them happens to you. For the showpiece, obviously it's a little different, but in Claire's position, she did it to herself, so there's no sympathy there. But this was something that affected Lady Denham because her showpiece was now damaged. Something had taken away her showpiece. And it was in her house while she was there. And I think that's more where the sympathy came from than it was for Clara herself. I think it came from showpiece owner being affected. And that's why she reacted the way she did. And then you see very quickly in episode 4, okay, you're now just, my showpiece is damaged. We were already going to rearrange the terms. We're already going to change it up. So, damaged showpiece, you are now fetch. You're now my errand person. So she sends her to go do errands, to go send letters, and I think from the moment Lady Denham said, discuss the terms, it's time to reevaluate the terms, Clara then began making, I think she always had a plan B, but I think she started making all these contingency plans for everything that she was going to have from there on out, because everything from that moment on had an angle with her. Even when she went over to Esther and Edwards, there was a reason she went up there silently. It wasn't because, oh, the door's open, I'll just go up there. No, she had an angle. And everything that happened from that point on, she had an angle. She was trying to create these plans that were get-out-free plans in case Lady Denham fully turned her servant, because she wasn't willing to be a servant. Well, she was willing to be, but I think there was only so far Claire was going to be pushed in that regard. And on top of that, I think she knew it was more likely that Lady Denham would kick her out before she got anything at that point. So everything was contingency plans because of how it was changed, because of how things were all. So in episode 5, we obviously see more of what they're doing, and you see Clara almost out of desperation kind of taunt Edward a little bit. I'm trying not to talk about Clara too much because we will be talking about her soon. But Lady Denham, as she gets sick, so you only see from episode 3 and 4 where Lady Denham is kind of sending them off in these different areas, right? 3, we're going to change the terms. So let's recap. Episode 1, caregiver child. Episode 2, caregiver child turned into annoyed at caregiver child. And when I say child, I mean showpiece. Episode 3, that annoyance is carried over, changing the terms to forced back into devastation of caregiver-child relationship. Episode 4 is, no, you are now whatever I say you are. And then episode 5, we see that's when she's carrying the load for Lady Denham. But there is that moment under the tent when she says, shall I fetch you a glass of whatever she says, I don't remember. And Lady Denham says, I'm glad someone cares about my health and my safety. And that's really the last time we see Lady Denham and Clara together in a healthy is the wrong word there, isn't it? In a good light. Because after that, she goes home. You see Clara caring for her, and Lady Denham is annoyed with her. And I think part of it is because I don't think it's just that Lady Denham is annoyed that she's caring for her, because Lady Denham says at the cricket match, I'm glad someone cares for my safety. So I don't think it's just, and again, she might have just said that to poke at Esther about Babington, but I don't think that's fully true. I think there was some truth to enjoying Clara devoting service to her. I think that she enjoyed that. So when she's sick in bed and she says, oh, don't fuss, quit your fussing, child, or whatever she says there, basically stop it, Clara. I don't think she's saying that because Clara's caring for her and, oh, I'm so strong and I can care for myself. I think she's saying that because if you look at the way Clara looked at her when she was on by that table, she was wringing out the wash rag, and the watchful way she's looking at Lady Denham, it's predatory. And I have to assume that she's desperately waiting for any sign of her death so she can claim the money, that she's in there constantly. She's in there 24 hours a day and probably fussing over her. And I think that's what, when Lady Denham said, quit your fussing, or whatever she said, I think the reason she said that is because Clara has been touching her, feeling her fur, seeing her breathing is slower, seeing all that stuff, and trying to keep a very, very close eye on whether she lives or dies. In terms of the will, I don't know that Clara found it when Lady Denham was sick, when she first got sick. I have a theory that Clara has been Lady Denham didn't just do the will. Clara would have known when the solicitor came. Clara would have known when the solicitor dropped it off. Clara would have known where it was going, because she would have kept an eye on that. Clara always has backup plans. Clara's always looking for an angle, always looking for a way out of a situation. So she would, when the solicitor came to do the will, I think Clara was very well aware of what was happening and knew where it was put, because she watched him in the same way that she's watching Lady Denham now, in a predatory way, wanting to see where things were put. And so I don't think she found it just then. And in fact, I think she may have found it, saw where it was put, and took it right then. I think it would have been risky for her to do that. So I think it's possible, but I think it would be risky for her to do that. I think when she took it was when Edward entered the house. Because, again, Clara knows abusers well. Clara knows manipulation well. Clara knows all these things well. So I think that when Edward came in the house, she saw exactly what he was, what he wanted, why he was there, and she could assume accurately what he would do. And I think that's when she took the will. So her fussing over Lady Denham, I don't think that she left her side to go find the will. I don't think she did that. I think after Lady Denham said quit fussing, I think that's when she left to go get the will before Edward could get to it. And obviously the next thing we see is with her and Lady Denham is Lady Denham calling her so many things. You feeble parasites. I do love that speech by Annie Reid. I love it. It's so good. And she does it so well, with such conviction and such power behind it. It's awesome. But I think that being the last thing we've seen full circle their relationship. There was, from the child caregiver to damaged, from owner to showpiece, I'm going to change it to that, owner showpiece. Owner damaged showpiece. Owner changes to damaged showpiece is now errand boy to, okay, damaged showpiece, you are fully done for me. You have nothing left to offer me. Get out. So we have come full circle in their relationship throughout the course of these 8 episodes. And I think it's a really interesting dynamic to watch unfold, because there is movement to it, there's growth to it, and there's change to it, and you can see it play out before you. And of course there's times when you see them, I'm mainly going over the times when they're alone, but there are times you see them out in public and you catch the glimpses between Clara and Lady Denham, or rather how Lady Denham watches her, what she sees in her. And you see Clara watching Lady Denham. You see Clara with other people, and that impacts their relationship because Lady Denham's watching her showpiece. It's her investment. She's going to watch it. But I think that the relationship was really smartly written. It was done effortlessly, so we could follow along on these hills and still be invested in them, and still waiting to see what the next drop will come and what will happen next. But it was a natural progression at the same time. And that's why it was so easy to follow along with. That's why it was so easy to get invested. A natural progression it's fun to watch. It's entertaining. It's something you can get sucked into, and it's good. It's well done. And seeing that there was such a definitive end to their relationship, I think for me, I am really curious how it's going to come back into play. Now, I know that obviously they're done filming seasons 2 and 3. And I know that a lot of it was done in what is Sanditon, or what was set up for Sanditon. I'm wondering if we are going to get any London shots of Clara, or if Clara is going to make her way back into Sanditon. And if she's making her way back into Sanditon, why? What do you hope to get out of it? What can you possibly get out of coming back to Sanditon when you were kicked out so unceremoniously? And I think that as I try to think about what her role is going to be, I think she's probably going to be. But then I see when I say that, I think, well, no, maybe Esther's pregnant. Because all I'm going off is that casting call for that baby that we had a while back. So I don't know how that's going to play out. But my instinct is to say Claire's the one who's in trouble. But if Claire's the one in trouble, then she's not going to receive any help from anybody. So how is that going to work? So the baby must be Esther's. And I'm just, this trying to figure out how Clara and Edward fit back in has been the biggest struggle for me of these things. But I think that Lady Denham's going to have something to do with Clara if she comes back in the town, right? Because Lady Denham's the one who pulls the strings in Sanditon. Lady Denham's the one with the money in Sanditon. So if Clara is coming back to Sanditon, it has to be to pulse or squeeze something out of Lady Denham. It has to be. And I'm wondering if there's an angle she's going to play there, because it wasn't just Clara who got kicked out. It was also Edward. So I'm wondering if she's going to play a specific angle there. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be fun to watch. I'll talk a little more about my theories when I talk about Clara later on. But I think that I know I'm very excited. I'm sorry, I'm saying words without fully having them in my head because my head hurts. So you're going to notice that a lot more of the ones I do on my own are not going to be 45 minutes long or an hour long. They're going to be roughly around 30 minutes in length, because it's hard for me to talk since I've had chemo. It's hard for me to talk so long by myself for an hour. It's very difficult. So we're going to end it for here today. And I want to know, tell me if you think I'm right on some of these things. Is Clara a showpiece? Is she an errand girl? Is she a caregiver child, which is the showpiece to me from that time period? Or do you think it's like more modern day caregiver child? Let me know what your thoughts are on Clara and Lady Denham. And when I say let me know your thoughts, I really, really mean it. It's not just something I'm saying at the end of an episode. Like, I want to engage with you on what you think about these episodes, on what you think about these characters, and what you think I said. If I'm wrong, if I'm right, I want to know. And you can reach us at our email at the.sanditonchronicles@gmail.com. And when I say us and we, I mean me, because I'm the only one who reads that email. I'm the only one who has access to it. But we do have a team on Facebook, and they have been graciously, I know that we have not been as active on our Facebook group. I am so sorry about that. With all this that's been going on with me, I haven't had a moment to give to our other podcast, Fandom Family Chats. We have 15 groups, including the Sanditon one, because I'll give you the group name. Our group name on Facebook is the Sanditon Chronicles Sanditon Family Fan Club. Our Fandom Family Chats runs a total of 15 groups, all with Family Fan Club at the end. If you see those on Facebook and in those groups, that's all us. And when I say us, I actually mean us. It's not just me. We have a team of 8 admins and several other moderators. So I have been falling back on a lot of those because of what's been going on with me. So we haven't been very active on our Facebook page, but our members have been trying to be active, posting things. So we're going to try to get some more fun things in there for you on my off weeks like I have this week. I'll try to post some more stuff in there. Remember, our rewatch is coming up. I'll give you the exact date this time, since I did not on the one that you will have seen on Thursday. So we are starting, the episode 8 is we're going to do our rewatch of season 1. But then when I say that, I think, well, no, maybe Esther's pregnant. Because all I'm going off is that casting call for that baby that we had a while back. So I don't know how that's going to play out. But my instinct is to say Claire's the one who's in trouble. But if Claire's the one in trouble, then she's not going to receive any help from anybody. So how is that going to work? So the baby must be Esther's. And I'm just, this trying to figure out how Clara and Edward fit back in has been the biggest struggle for me of these things. But I think that Lady Denham's going to have something to do with Clara if she comes back in the town, right? Because Lady Denham's the one who pulls the strings in Sanditon. Lady Denham's the one with the money in Sanditon. So if Clara is coming back to Sanditon, it has to be to pulse or squeeze something out of Lady Denham. It has to be. And I'm wondering if there's an angle she's going to play there, because it wasn't just Clara who got kicked out. It was also Edward. So I'm wondering if she's going to play a specific angle there. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be fun to watch. I'll talk a little more about my theories when I talk about Clara later on. But I think that I know I'm very excited. I'm sorry, I'm saying words without fully having them in my head because my head hurts. So you're going to notice that a lot more of the ones I do on my own are not going to be 45 minutes long or an hour long. They're going to be roughly around 30 minutes in length, because it's hard for me to talk since I've had chemo. It's hard for me to talk so long by myself for an hour. It's very difficult. So we're going to end it for here today. And I want to know, tell me if you think I'm right on some of these things. Is Clara a showpiece? Is she an errand girl? Is she a caregiver child, which is the showpiece to me from that time period? Or do you think it's like more modern day caregiver child? Let me know what your thoughts are on Clara and Lady Denham. And when I say let me know your thoughts, I really, really mean it. It's not just something I'm saying at the end of an episode. Like, I want to engage with you on what you think about these episodes and what you think about these characters and what you think I said. If I'm wrong, if I'm right, I want to know. And you can reach us at our email at the.sanditonchronicles@gmail.com. And when I say us and we, I mean me, because I'm the only one who reads that email. I'm the only one who has access to it. But we do have a team on Facebook, and they have been graciously, I know that we have not been as active on our Facebook group. I am so sorry about that. With all this that's been going on with me, I haven't had a moment to give to, and our other podcast, Fandom Family Chats, we have 15 groups, including the Sanditon one, because I'll give you the group name. Our group name on Facebook is the Sanditon Chronicles Sanditon Family Fan Club. Our Fandom Family Chats runs a total of 15 groups, all with Family Fan Club at the end. If you see those on Facebook and in those groups, that's all us. And when I say us, I actually mean us. It's not just me. We have a team of 8 admins and several other moderators. So I have been falling back on a lot of those because of what's been going on with me. So we haven't been very active on our Facebook page, but our members have been trying to be active, posting things. So we're going to try to get some more fun things in there for you on my off weeks like I have this week. I'll try to post some more stuff in there. Okay, so our rewatch, that is coming up, and I'm going to give you the exact dates. March 15th, episode 8 will air. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. January 25th. We're going to air it. We're going to watch our rewatches on Tuesdays so we can have same pattern as season 2, because season 2 airs on March 22nd, which is a Tuesday. So get ready to watch your rewatches. Get ready to get in depth with it, because when we do a rewatch on our Facebook group, we are going to put out discussion questions. We're going to put out character questions, relationship questions, theories, or things you wish would be different. You can feel free during we'll have a whole week dedicated. So from the Tuesday we start our rewatch until the following Monday will be dedicated to that one episode. So post in there, ask questions, give your theories, give all these different things that you want to be a part of. And that's how we're going to do our rewatches on the group, on the Facebook group, until episode 1 of season 2 airs. We're going to have a big party thing, I think, when it airs, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit excited. I don't know if you heard that, but I'm a little bit excited. So you can find us on our Facebook group. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram under the Sanditon Chronicles. We're all there. We'd love to connect with you to begin with. If you want to come on our show and discuss your fan fiction, your work, your shop, anything that you have doing in the world of Sanditon, please reach out to us and let us know. We'd love to. If you don't want to come on, Janis and I would love to cover what you're doing and get involved with all things Sanditon. Hopefully we'll have some interviews coming up for you soon. And that is it for me today, guys. So I will see you real soon. Bye-bye.